Good evening and welcome back to Amy Park. We're about to approach the third and final match of the Npl Victoria triple header, and it is the men's Npl Grand Final. Heidelberg United taking on Avondale. My name's Teo Pellizzeri. Joining me is Damir Kulash. Damir, we've seen one champion crowned. We've seen an incredibly dramatic promotion relegation playoff. Now for the main course, it is Heidelberg and Avondale, and one of these two teams about to be crowned champion of Victorian men's football. Just firstly, your impressions on how the day has gone so far.
So far, so good. I mean, the first game was a cracking encounter. A lot to that storyline there, action-packed, plenty of intensity. The second one, Bulleen with an upset victory, topped up by some great goals by the Bulleen players. And overall, I think that's been a fantastic, you could say, entree and main meal. Now we've got the dessert.
So the fans are still piling in to Amy Park here. There have been plenty of walk-ups today, and the atmosphere throughout the afternoon has been pretty good. It's quite a chilly day, but the players would have absolutely no complaints as we head into this third and final match, Heidelberg against Avondale. We've got shots of the players warming up out on the ground behind us here, Damir, and the big talking point, no doubt, will be selection, because both these teams played midweek, and that will have a huge physical toll going into a game where these two sides have not held back when they've played against each other in their 3 meetings so far this season.
Most definitely. I mean, with Heidelberg, the big question is how much is it going to have an effect, the travel that they've endured over the past few weeks. Of course, going to Queensland midweek is a lot different than playing at home, although Avondale themselves were tested for 120 minutes against Sydney FC and ultimately, unfortunately, couldn't get past the finish line there in what was a cracking evening for Victorian football, and I guess more of the same tonight. And ultimately, it'll be interesting to see how the game revolves around that. Whether there'll be plenty of movement, whether it'll be a game in transition, because if there is, and Avondale keep possession, I think that they can wear Heidelberg out slightly.
We're looking at Avondale now. What do you think is the more draining issue? Heidelberg interstate for 120 minutes a day earlier, or Avondale for 120 minutes at home a day later? That 24 hours, some would say it's important, some would say they would prefer not to travel. Is it a factor for either team, or do you think it actually negates each other?
You could argue that it negates against each other, but then again, jumping on a plane for a few hours, the travel, it does take a toll, whereas with Avondale, they had the luxury of going straight home, training the following day. Heidelberg obviously came back to Melbourne on Wednesday and actually missed gold medal night on Friday night in preparation for this game. So it'll be quite an interesting to see if either side is benefited or you could say hampered by the preparations, but ultimately I don't think that should affect the quality of football on the park.
What about crowd support? There's been so much said about Avondale's fan base and maybe the opportunity of the FFA Cup to grow their fan base. Heidelberg probably right now have the biggest fan base that turns up week to week. I know South Melbourne supporters may not appreciate me saying that, but certainly in terms of fans that show up, they might be the biggest. Let's look at the teams. Chris Theodoridis in goal for Heidelberg United, Josh Wilkins, Ruben Way, Andrew Kartanos, Adrian Zara, Jack Petrie, Luke Biles, Paul O'Brien, Tom Cahill, Stephen Pace and Sean Ellis. And on the bench, Christian Pavlidis, Les Dumbalis, Harvey Reid, Alex Schiavo and Attila Offley. But Paul O'Brien in the starting lineup is probably the most interesting name there.
And I must say, it's a bit of a different team sheet to the one that we were given, because on the one that we were given, Alex Schiavo did not make the bench.
And Avondale FC, Chris Oldfield in goal, Ramatav Sansioglu, Jeff Fleming, Anthony Strano, Liam Boland, Evan Christodoulou, Yite Towns, Kane Shepherd, Ross Archibald, Elvis Kamsoba and Joey Katavian. On the bench, Evan Markagianakis, James Ricabene, Stefan Zinni, Jonathan Germano and Phil Ricabene. So they've got a bit of versatility on that bench. They've retained all the big guns, all the attacking weapons are starting. So that means that they are going to be pretty keen to score goals, and last time they played they did win 3-2, albeit in the last round of the home and away, when both teams pretty much knew what their ladder position was going to be.
Of course, but when you look at that Avondale attack, it is quite formidable. You've got the trickster Elvis Kamsoba, Joey Katabian has come into some good form, Kane Shepherd, of course, in what is his one shot for Avondale before his move to the Newcastle Jets in the A-League, and also Liam Boland, who's come off another sensational FA Cup night. So I think they're going to be just a bit too hot to handle tonight, but of course Heidelberg's defence is the most experienced in the league, and the likes of Stephen Pace and Luke Biles, aided by consistent performance in Josh Wilkins and Ruben Way, are going to have a tough night. But if there's someone that can stop that Avondale attack is definitely there.
First head-to-head was a 1-1 draw at Paisley Park. It featured one of the saves of the year from Chris Theodoridis. Second meeting was in the Doherty Cup. It was the play-in game that Heidelberg had to play before the semi-finals. They won that 3-2 after extra time. Avondale thought they'd taken it to penalties, only for Heidelberg to score in the final seconds of the game. And then, as we mentioned, the 3-2 in the final home and away game of the season. Does that track record leave you anything to read into what sort of game we might get? Will it be your classic KG Cup final, or will we actually get another 3-2 or a high-scoring game like the previous two meetings between the sides?
I think it's going to be the former, but I'd love it to be the latter because, as we've already seen, we want plenty of drama at the big stage. And I think that both teams have the players to score a handful of goals today. But then again, having said that, these games tend to be quite cagey most often than not.
And last question, Demir. Anthony Barbieri, suspended, won't be in the technical area, means Zoran Markovski will be the gaffer. And for Heidelberg United, the irrepressible George Katsakis and his management team. Do you see an advantage or an edge either way there? And will the absence of Barbieri be a factor?
Well, Avondale will be hoping that the absence of Barbieri is a good luck charm because Zoran Markovski has proudly boasted about the fact that he's never lost a grand final dating back to his playing days. So perhaps an advantage to Avondale, perhaps not. I think George Katsakis will cut a very passionate figure on the touchline and you'll see that passion evoked through his team.
Thank you, Demir. You'll be back with me at half-time. I'll be joined by Nick Tolios in the commentary box. Stay with us here on the NPL Victoria Facebook page and YouTube channel. The grand final kickoff is just minutes away. So live pictures of Amy Park as we wait for the players to appear in the tunnel. And joining us for the first time this evening is Kingston City coach Nick Tolios. Tulsi, great to have you back on grand final day behind the microphone.
Thanks, Taylor. Thanks for having us this evening and looking forward to an absolute cracker.
So we discussed the teams in pre-game, myself and Demir Kulash. As far as your read on these starting 11s, can you make a great deal out of perhaps Paul O'Brien getting the nod for Heidelberg United and also the way they've accounted for the absence of the suspended Lewis Hall and also Harry Noon?
Look, it's a straight replacement for me. Paul O'Brien's an out-and-out midfielder, holding midfielder that Lewis Hall left the gap for, so looks like he comes straight in. And look, the only thing for him is whether he's going to last the 90 minutes.
Avondale's team, no Anthony Barbieri, Zoran Markovski on the bench, as someone who's obviously locked horns with both those two as a dynamic duo during the course of the year. How's that going to change the way Avondale approach this game, if anything?
Oh, look, I think Zocchi's very experienced, mate. He's played at the highest level in this state, and I think he'll probably give these team an added lift, knowing what to expect in the grand final, knowing what Heidelberg like. Heidelberg Katzer gets them up for like they're going to war every week. So, look, it's going to be an interesting. They're both fiery customers on the touchline, but I think it's going to be an absolute belter of a game.
You're seeing the stands starting to fill up once again here at Amy Park. Grand final triple header has been a big success so far. Hopefully a great game here and a big live audience on Facebook will cap it all off. Make sure you like, make sure you share and comment and let us know that you are watching the NPL Victoria Grand Final, and where you are watching from. We've already hit 300 live viewers, Nick, and we're not even at kickoff yet, which is great signs. We've got plenty of people commenting here in Facebook. Adam says, hope Heidelberg win for my dad, RIP. There's Mark Avellino, legendary photographer around the FFE scene. Fantastic bloke as well. What else have we got here? Harry Noon won't be at the Burgers next year. That's an interesting comment. Dean says, love it, Demir. And also a lot of people just saying hello to each other, which is not all well and good. Whatever you want to say it in the comments. As we see Heidelberg in the tunnel, Chris Theodoridis Petropoulos with a couple of Heidelberg juniors there, and Avondale on the other side. There's Ross Archibald about to lead his team up the tunnel and out into the match. Big game to referee. Adam Bavka gets the nod as FFE Referee of the Year. I know that coaches are often reticent to comment on referees, Tulsi, but how many times did you get Bavka during the course of the season?
I think 2 or 3 times we got him, Teo, but all referees did a fantastic job this year, so no different tonight.
Spoken like a man who knows he's going to be coaching next season. The central referee is Adam Bavka, assistants Ben Sheppers and Luke Camilleri, and Jack Morgan is the 4th official tonight. So hopefully that's the only time we need to talk about it throughout the course of the evening, and they all have a good game.
Just a quick shout out to the FFE for deciding to have the grand final here. Teo, I think it's a fantastic initiative that they've shown to bring it to this park. It's a fantastic football stadium, so credit to them.
There's certainly a bit of atmosphere being generated in the ground at the moment. And after last week's semi-final round, who knows what to expect in any other season. The Heidelberg versus Oakley semi-final would have been considered the most dramatic, and yet we had something that well and truly topped it in the other game as Avondale beat Bentley, as the two teams make their way out onto the pitch. 2018 Npl Victoria Grand Final almost ready to kick off. Heidelberg United against Avondale, and we saw Avondale and their remarkable run in the FFA Cup. Heidelberg's is still going in another 3 days' time. We'll wait and see exactly what happens this afternoon. Now, a place in history, Nick, that's probably the biggest thing that these clubs want out of today. The name on the trophy and the name in the record books, and for a club like Avondale, it would cap a remarkable rise through the divisions.
Look, for both teams, I think Heidelberg last year still disappointed they didn't take away this title, and I think that's something that they're going to be really pushing for today. And look, what a fantastic season Avondale have had.
National anthem time. The formalities conclude pre-game, and after some handshakes, it will be grand final time for the NPL Victoria season to culminate. Handshakes take place. It's a beautiful contrast in kits, the Avondale blue and the Heidelberg yellow. Referees in black tonight as well. Many of these players won't have played at Amy Park before. Some will have over the journey in their careers, so it won't be any great shakes for them, but for some it'll be absolutely buzzing as one of the biggest moments of their career, Nick.
100%. Look, it's a fantastic venue. We touched on it before, but I think they're all probably more aware of what's at stake. I think that the championship's going to be something that they all going to want to get their hands on. But look, it's two fantastic teams that both played well this year, and I think it's going to be an absolute cracker.
Team photos taking place. There's Avondale on the ground. Chris Oldfield. We'll be interested to see how he moves. Maybe that first ball he has to come out of his area for after being subbed off. I've heard everything from precaution to torn hamstring, Nick, so clearly the misinformation and the fake news was flying around his fitness. See the handshakes between the captains Luke Biles and Ross Archibald. Jack Morgan, our whistleblower today. Coin flip, not that important because the sun has well and truly set here at Amy Park, so no one's going to be looking into the sun as they may have been in the first 2 games of the day.
Does it look like there's any wind either? Is there tail out there? Or?
Oh no, it's blustery. It's quite a chilly evening. No excuses for the players though.
Predictions for you?
I think that Avondale can win this game, but Heidelberg pride themselves on being difficult to play against. I wouldn't be surprised if it's all the way to penalties, and then in a shootout, you got 2 of the better penalty shootout goalkeepers. I think maybe it's Avondale's time. Heidelberg have prided in proving people wrong throughout the course of their run in the NPL. And George Katsakis at the end of the bench right there, Lisbon Barlas hamming it up. Clearly very relaxed, but are ones that don't give an inch.
They've got their back 4 back in place. Stephen Pace, Lukey Bowles. 2 very, very experienced players, and they're going to be challenged here with Kane Shepherd, who's obviously got a deal across to Newcastle Jets, and Liam Boland, who coming off for 2 goals last week against Sydney FC. So it's a cracking game. Some great players. With Elvis out wide, he's a danger man. We're going to be careful of him.
So Heidelberg to attack the right of your screens in the first half. Avondale in the blue to go to the left, and it's Heidelberg who will take kickoff here in the 2018 Grand Final. All in readiness then. A season that started in February finally culminates here in September at Amy Park. And Adam Bafka's whistle will get us underway. Adrian Zara kicks us off, and Heidelberg get the 2018 Grand Final started. And straight away the ball is hit into touch and out. They have played entertaining games in each of their 3 meetings this season. You do wonder whether it'll be more of the same, or whether we do get your classic KG Grand Final, KG Big Cup Final type of match. Ball into the box, there could be a goal in second. Zara denied. A touch off Oldfield. He needed to get some contact, and that would have been a goal in the first 30 seconds.
It was fantastic there by Chris Oldfield. He read it very quickly. Archibald got caught underneath the ball there. Kale, that's what he'll do. He'll draw defenders, and then Zara, what a fantastic run in behind. And again, Shawnee Ellis on that left peg. Got to be careful.
Corner from Ellis, and headed away by Baldwin. Back on defensive duty. Ellis will get a second time ball into the near post this time. And now a volley attempted from Wilkins, blocked away. Heidelberg will keep possession though. Biles, they've left their numbers from the corner forward. Cahill goes to ground in a Avondale sandwich. Got to say that Sean Ellis, he's got a very heavily bandaged right knee there, Nick, so we will keep a very keen eye on his movement throughout the course of the night, whether it's just support or precaution, or whether he's bringing an injury into the game.
Knowing Katsa, he's not going to take it in, risk anyone in such a big game like this, so once you cross that white line, he's declared you fit, so I think you'll be fine.
He won't get to the ball here because Cam Sober was able to intercept. Christodoulou goes down a saw. Is he going to stay down, get back to his feet? Heidelberg got the ball, so he's going to will himself back up. Now trying to flick it on Zara. Leaning into a header, Archibald. And now Joey Katabian. Able to swing it out to the left and relieve some early pressure, but Heidelberg have just rushed Avondale from kickoff in the first 2 minutes. Has been all burgers.
Tell you what, you know it's a final. A few boys have left their foot trailing. Nothing wrong with that. And Evans felt the first real good challenge there by Petrie.
Taf Sansioglu with the header. Jeff Fleming plays it back to Oldfield. Boland looking to flick on off the arm of Shepherd. Play continues. George Katsakis doesn't like the call. Heidelberg win the ball back. And a long ball over to the right side. And Avondale can consolidate. What have you made of the move of Yite Towns to right back? It certainly hasn't been where he's been playing all season. He's normally known as a midfielder, and yet he seems to have done quite well in that role.
He slotted in perfectly. I watched him last week against Bentley, and he's a very smart player. Doesn't give up the ball, very composed, and that's what you need as a fullback.
Boland's holding his head after an aerial duel with pace. And now Wilkins goes to ground, shouts for a foul, not heeded. Petrie backtracking. It's been really physical in these early stages. Both teams setting the tone. Cahill, he won't shirk the issue either. Avondale are able to keep the ball away from his influence there.
Good from both teams, not scared to put their foot in.
Sansioglu goes long and held on to by Theodoridis. Got to say, Tuesday night's penalty shootout was one of the more dramatic and interesting penalty shootouts I've ever seen. Nick Heidelberg saved first thanks to that man Theodoridis, and that had 2, I think even 3 saved, and in between all of that, Luke Borey and the Lions goalkeeper managed to put as perfect a penalty as you'll see in the top corner. It was a very entertaining end to the night, albeit with the Victorian team sadly on the losing side.
It was a very interesting penalty take it there, having their keeper to take it, but he stood up. Fantastic penalty.
We've already crossed 700 on the live stream. Keep liking, keep sharing. Let people know you're watching the NPL Victoria Grand Final. Great to have names like Louis Achevsky, Davey Van Schip, Anthony Banavac all joining the stream, watching in from around the NPL. If you're not here at Amy Park, you're watching online. I think it's as simple as that. That's why we've got a big audience tonight. As the ball goes out once again. 4 minutes negotiated so far. Be honest, what minute did you think Avondale were going to pull the trigger on Johnny Germano last week when we got to the second half of extra time and they still hadn't subbed him on? They're 2 goals down, and then they finally make the decision to throw him into the game.
It was an interesting one. Obviously, they started off with Boland as well and took him off at half time, and I thought they then got on top, but then, yeah, look, you had to go for broke, didn't they? They 3-1 down.
Fleming muscled off the ball. Cahill trying to break away. Neat little reverse. Zara is away. Adrian Zara bearing down on goal! Heidelberg lead, and Zara is jumping for joy! Just 5 minutes gone, and it's the Burgers who strike first at Amy Park.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom Cahill there, winning the ball in the middle of the ground, and then had the composure to play a reverse ball in to Adrian Zara. Unfortunately for Yite Towns, who kept everyone on the other opposite side, but what a fantastic finish. He had a chance early on in the first minute, and he took that extremely well, and Chrissy Orfield, credit to him, he got a hand to it too.
The pass from Cahill absolutely left the Avondale defence scrambling, and Zara opted for the chip. Oldfield got a decent piece of it, but not enough to stop the ball falling into the back of the net. And then it was acrobatics from Zara as he celebrated.
Well, for the neutral, Teo, an early goal is always fantastic in a final. So this is now going to have to spur on Avondale, but again, credit to them. Last week they came back from 2-0 down, so game on, and well deserved so far for Heidelberg.
As far as setting the tone, Heidelberg will be delighted that they have broken through an Avondale defence that really built its reputation last season on being stingy. This year they have conceded a few more, but perhaps that's also been matched by the attacking talent they've brought in and the shift in mindset.
Just Zara's movement there was fantastic, but I tell you what, Tommy Cahill, there's something that you'd want him to be on the end of, but he did that. He won it well in the middle, beat Fleming on the ball, and then was smart enough to do that reverse ball, and it was fantastic by Zara.
Towns backtracking here. This is the first test of a sprint off the line for Chris Oldfield, and he's not happy with himself as he dumps the ball into touch. The comment section has exploded. Most of the people saying great goal, good finish. A lot of Burgers fans very happy about the way the game has begun here at Amy Park. Petrie. Christodoulou and Boland combining to take the ball off him. O'Brien. Now Ruben Way. From the left side. And they're unable to find a gap.
Great ball.
Katabian. Boland. Stephen Pace stopped him in his tracks. Might have hurt his arm here, Stephen Pace. No.
He's got a history with a bad shoulder, Stephen Pace, and I think it's popped out.
Gee, that would be absolutely devastating for Heidelberg. Is it one that they can pop back in and just send him back out there?
Look, I've played with Pace when we were younger, and he's known for his shoulder to come out, but he's a tough mate. He's one of the toughest competitors I know, and extremely experienced. It might be just a corky, but hopefully he'll be all right. You don't want to see a play coming off with injury.
Corner for Avondale. Katabian cleared from the near post. O'Brien got the header. Jeff Fleming following up. And that cross is going to fall awkwardly on the byline. It hasn't found its way out. And now O'Brien is able to bomb away.
This is where Avondale need to retain the ball. They've been losing it every time.
Katabian.
Just trying to force it.
Wilkins. Joey Katabian. Christodoulou. Kamsoba. Wilkins gives away the foul, and he argues that he got the ball, but the referee does not agree.
I think he knew what he was doing there. Make sure Elvis felt that one. I know they have to target him because he's a danger man for them, but silly, didn't need to do it.
So Kamsoba's stayed down here. Just a foul, no booking, and now he's finally back to his feet. Aerially, is it an even matchup between these teams? Heidelberg have got Biles, Pace, Cahill, of course, a target van. They can all come back and defend set pieces. Avondale, the likes of Archibald, Tafsansioglu, Boland.
Look, I think Avondale, height-wise, I think have got him covered, but for me, Evan Christodoulou is surprisingly very good in the air, so I'd be worried about him.
Joey Katabian over the free kick. To the near post, volleyed away.
Needs to do better there.
Fleming. It's a couple of set pieces that have been cleared by the near man already for Avondale.
Great ball.
Towns. Christodoulou sits up. Archibald stayed forward. Christodoulou on that left-footed hammer. And not able to beat Theodoridis on the tight angle.
Played there by Archibald. Had the composure to play Evan back in. A lot of centre-halves there will try and turn and have a shot at goal. Nosebleed section up front.
Almost cracked 800 on Facebook now. Of course, we're going on YouTube as well. If that's your preferred platform, you can watch it there. Npl Victoria for both. Shepherd rides the challenge of Biles. There's a bit of history between those two. They went nose to nose and it was very unfriendly in the first home and away game of the season. Out at Paisley Park. I was there for that one. Feels only very recently, really.
It's a fantastic scene. Jeff Fleming, still kicking around, playing at the highest level.
39 years old.
Fantastic. He's an absolute legend of this Victorian Premier League or NPL, whatever you want to call it, Teo. But it's great. If you look after your body, work hard, you can still keep playing at a decent level.
Ball's breaking out to the right. Cahill didn't want to give up on it, but the ball is going to beat him. Jake Petrie there. One of the mini Queensland contingent. And of course we had a Queenslander win the gold medal on Friday night. Tyson Holmes getting the gong, adding his name to the honour roll. Nick Hegarty nearly pipped him for what would have been his third gold medal. As we see Ellis's ball to an offside Cahill. What did you make of the count and the results? Brandon Barnes won just about everything else, Nick. So Tyson Holmes did well to... I think that 6-game injury layoff for Barnes mid-season potentially cost him a gold medal there, really. Not to diminish the winner.
Oh, look, I thought Tyson had a super year. He's been one of Bentley's most consistent players all season, and you know he's the reason why they were doing so well and had a fantastic season again. Again, look at Hegarty as well, and Hegarty missed a few games too throughout the year. Obviously, he can play a coach. And
Ellis. The goal scorer is Zara, chasing. Has the ball now. Archibald trying to guard him. Heidelberg slowly drifting numbers forward. Zara onto his right side. Headed away by Strano.
Well defended. Did well to keep front position there.
Christodoulou blocked. Petrie knew exactly what he was going to do. Katanos slipped at the key moment. Looks like they've made a switch. Ellis over to the left side and Katanos to the right. So some teams like to do this as a set plan. Others like to do it spontaneously. Do you agree with it, Nicky? You're the sort of coach that likes to switch your fullbacks or your wingers based on a time regiment rather than how the game is panning out?
Look, fullbacks I would probably never do it, but wingers we do, depending on how they're going against that fullback. If they're having some joy, I probably wouldn't. If they're out of the game a little bit, sometimes switching wings might help. So.
Ball on the right side. Katanos against Strano, able to usher it out for a goal kick.
Strano's had a good passage there the last couple of minutes.
So Oldfield to take the goal kick.
Interesting that Avondale not really looking at trying to play out.
Is that something maybe specific to Heidelberg, or do you think it's a characteristic of their team all year?
Look, last week, once Boland came off, I think every time they looked at trying to play out, when they've got Shepherd and Boland up front and Elvis come playing off their shoulder, I think they go a bit more directly than normal. But just looking at Chris Yorfield there, after he kicked that ball, he was hobbling a little bit gingerly, so just keep an eye on that one, to be honest.
Could it be a case where they stop him taking goal kicks so he doesn't have to swing his kicking leg too often?
It could be something they might have to look at, or it's always a weird one when you've got a centre-half taking a goal kick, because then you're prone for...
Or you're playing everyone on
side. Correct.
Wilkins.
He's had a great year.
And now able to lose his marker. Katanos. Cahill's in the middle, but the ball won't arrive. Taps Hansioglu with a key block. Strano went to ground. Katanos on the overlap. Petrie sliding it in. Cleared away by Archibald. Cam Sober. An awkward control of the ball, but he did bring it down.
A lot of players losing their feet.
Well, there was rugby league here on Friday night. I was rubbished for suggesting that may have been a factor during the first game of the day. And Katavian is down hurt here.
He could, I think he's caught an absolute rip of a corky on the quad there.
And Adam Bavka, the referee, will go over and assess. The trainer's already up to the sideline.
I don't think he'll be coming back from this. If it is a corky, he's going to feel that for the rest of the day, especially because it's so cold. You wouldn't want to be losing Joey Katavian. He had a great game last week in the second half against Bentley.
He's going to be helped to his feet here. Still favouring his thigh.
Never easy, corky.
He's going to try and walk it off. The trainer has resumed his seat. Avondale will give the ball back. So 1-0 thanks to Zara's goal in the 5th minute. I've enjoyed the lead for just over 10 minutes now. Heidelberg United. Theodoridis hasn't had a great deal of work to do. Goes long, volleyed away by Archibald. Flick on by Shepherd. And off the head of Luke Biles. It's going to run down to the goalkeeper. Cam Sober, challenged by Wilkins. And then Jack Petrie. They've really made a point of letting Elvis know that they're there, haven't they?
Oh, look, they know that they want to get in Elvis's ear, but I think he's a lot of teams have tried that throughout the year, Teo, and he's come out on top. So the thing is, you don't want to get Elvis fired up. He enjoys this kind of thing.
Archibald, Katavian, moving a lot freer now. A bit backwards for Avondale's cause. All the way back to Oldfield.
This is better for them. They need to keep possession.
There's George Katsakis. You would know his team's 1-0 up. He's got a fair old frown on his face at the moment. And that frown will surely become a grimace as the first yellow card of the match is produced. Adam Bavka saying to Paul O'Brien that that foul on Boland constituted the first booking.
Have a look at it here. To be honest, I think there's been a couple a bit worse than that, but I think he needed to set the ground rule. I think if he didn't do that, the game could get out of control. But again, that's going to be interesting now. A yellow card, Paul O'Brien, something you don't want. It's only, 15, 16 minutes in.
Looking at their bench, they really have a like-for-like alternative as well. Les Dumbalis, Harvey Reid as centre-back, Jacob Talevski, Attila Roffley. So it might mean positional switching if they need to take him off as a precaution at some point later in the game. Although some players are very good at playing on a yellow card, truth be told. What were you like playing on a yellow?
That was fine.
Exactly.
Just experienced team.
Katavian drifts it to the penalty spot. It's all Heidelberg. Way heads clear. Fleming will capitalise. Cam Sober. Christodoulou steps away from Cahill. And now on his non-preferred right side, it was neither a cross nor a shot in the end. It was just bending out towards the byline. Theodoridis wasn't going to take any risks. Reached out and grabbed onto the ball.
Saki with his traditional hat on. It was Tony Pulis-like.
Zoran Markovski, of course, an NSL winner, back-to-back with the Melbourne Knights. We see a foul here on Tom Cahill. And I think the Heidelberg players will be asking, where's the retaliatory yellow card? Ramzan Tefsansioglu certainly made his feelings clear about the foul call to begin with. There's George Skatsakis already into a dialogue with Jack Morgan, the fourth official, well and truly.
I think it was Zocchi had to go as well, and I think that George is just responding to that.
Tom Cahill around Fleming, firing on his left side and dragging it wide right.
This is a striker there wanting to pull the trigger. He had Shawnee Ellis open there, Tommy. Yeah, but Heidelberg is smart, setting up so they can't play out short and testing Chrissy. Just watch after his kick there, Taz. See how he pulls up.
Oldfield. Seemed all right after that one. Maybe we're looking for something that's
not there. Yeah, look, but he's a fantastic keeper. And
goalkeeper of the year is voted by the coaches of the NPL. Are you willing to disclose who you voted for, Nick?
Yeah, to be honest, I did vote for Chrissy from Heidelberg. I had Chrissy Oldfield in second and Scotty in third. I thought all three keepers were fantastic this year.
There's been some good keepers around Npl Victoria. Assistant referees flagging. Foul. Offside. Tefsansioglu and Cahill squabbling over the ball. And already you can just see tempers starting to flare. And you know Adam Bafk is going to be in for a tough afternoon when it's this tense and chippy in just the 20th minute.
Look, Ram is smart there. He knows that he's got the ball in his hand. He just wants to get the game moving. He knows. And Tom got his final warning there.
Long ball. Fleming getting forward. And then the cross wasn't able to match the run. Biles.
Heidelberg not paying enough respect there for Fleming's third man run in. Got to be careful of that. Got a ball in there. Boland has a side foot tap in.
Throw by Way. Christed will lose header. Boland. And a shallow nod. Straight back down to Ruben Way. Theodoridis. Zara rose to win the header, but to no great effect. Boland's header this time. With the ball at his feet, plays it to Towns. Yite Towns. Gets caught in possession. Ruben Way swallowed him up. Towns back in. Way bursting through. Persistent. And now Zara. Back to Ruben Way. Petrie. Cahill challenging.
Fleming done extremely well there. Bless you there, Tanya.
The listeners didn't hear that, Nick. But, thank you.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. On that note, Canella says, great commentating, Nick. And great to have more comments coming through. Long ball, Boland chasing. He'll fancy his chances, but the technique wasn't quite there. And he ends up hooking it across the face.
I think he was looking for the square up. He didn't actually go for goal, I don't think, there, but
I suspected he might have been going for the volley. There's some shuckers in the crowd. Young Heidelberg fans having fun. And seeing themselves on the big screen.
I loved it. Fantastic.
Great to see at NPL level at Amy Park. Vincent says he's watching from Thailand. Go Burgers.
All three games had so many juniors here today, Tayo. That was good from all clubs involved.
Well, children 13 and under free. Why wouldn't you come down and give it a look? It's a good week coming up. We've all got the public holiday on Friday. Do you reckon if Daniel gets re-elected, he'll move the public holiday to the Friday before NPL Grand Final weekend? As we see Heidelberg winning a free kick. Jack Petrie seems awfully unhappy for a man whose team got the ball.
Not sure what. He's probably looking for a card, but I don't think there was anything there.
There's the Burgers faithful, all packed in, yellow and black all around.
Looks like a great crowd in as well. So they do like to mix up their set-piece takers depending on how far from goal it is.
Often Jack Petrie will take the mid-range and longer range ones. Sean Ellis when it gets a bit closer to goal.
From this spot, I think he scored against Davenport as well.
Well, that was almost the forgotten game of some of the more outrageous finishes and great wins we've had in recent times. Here comes Jack Petrie's delivery. Heidelberg with numbers in the penalty area, and he's going to test the keeper. Oldfield responds and parries it out for a corner.
Again, he gets it in a great spot. I think Chrissy Oldfield saw the run of Katanos and knew he had to get rid of it.
So now Sean Ellis's turnover, a dead ball.
Avondale have everyone behind the ball here.
Ellis high to the far post. Cahill backtracking and then can't turn it back towards goal. As is tradition on these streams, a lot of people are claiming to watch from far-flung corners of the earth where they are not actually watching. Adams in Serbia. We've also got Marco in France and Tim in Nepal.
And a lot of our boys are watching it at Benny. He's got his birthday today. They're all watching the game there.
Who, sorry?
Benny, I can't even say his surname. Asua Sofa. It's his birthday, so they're all there watching it.
Great to have them tuning in. Maybe they can all open it on their phones and just get our live audience up over 800. Long ball, Biles heads away. I call Jeff Fleming the ageless wonder, but when you've got Stephen Pace and Luke Biles at the centre of your defence, I guess it's safe to say there are quite a few players who have learnt to manage and handle their bodies and their regimes to extend their careers.
Exactly right, Taylor. And all of them featuring in the biggest stage today in the grand final.
Long ball, and Yite Towns is there. Avondale haven't shown a great deal of desperation in the 20 minutes since falling behind. It is only early days, but Heidelberg aren't playing like a team with the comfort of a 1-0 lead, and Avondale aren't playing with the urgency of a team that are trailing, it's safe to say. Game is really settled, into a bit of a holding pattern.
They have. I think Avondale now starting to get a bit on the ball a bit more and starting to cause some problems for Heidelberg, but then Boland's winning the ball, there's no one in behind. Normally him and Shepherd link up well. Trying to find their feet now, I think. The nerves might have gotten the better of them.
Christodoulou, shades of handball, referee not interested. Katavian chasing over on the left side. Wilkins right there with him. Katavian holds the ball up. Strano. Christodoulou, where the move started. Katavian swings the ball in. Boland extended a right leg and not meaningful contact. Just bounced across the face and it was going out, but Theodoridis wasn't to know. Went down and claimed the ball.
Indeed, it was a great ball in there by Joey Katavian. Put it in the right spot. Boland and Kemsoba both attacking the ball, and one of those balls where everyone misses and the keeper's got to be aware because that could have snuck into the bottom corner.
Got a question here from one of the viewers. Nick, who's your favourite striker? I assume in the NPL is the question.
My favourite striker in the NPL? That's a good question. There's a lot of them. I'd have to say Damien Yakonis, my players. It's the right thing to say. Oliver White, got a few.
There's your answer, Matthew. Of course, Oliver White played a key role in Kingston just pulling themselves away from playing here today. Any danger of finishing 12th? And truly cast aside by the penultimate round of the season. So we see Strano crashing in on Ellis. Heidelberg fans don't like it. Foul given. Is it just a foul?
Well, for Paul O'Brien to get a card that he did, I thought that for me is probably a yellow. He might not have gotten him. Shawnee Ellis was smart enough to get his leg out of the way.
Lip readers could quite clearly see Tom Cahill saying, "Where's the card?"
Considering himself very lucky there.
I have to agree with you. It's a free kick in the meantime. Heidelberg will try to make the most of it and go 2-0 up. Game has just been meandering, so it's there for the taking if they can strike here. Ellis, an in-swinger, and Oldfield read it all the way. Cahill's run a little too late to affect his catch of the ball.
Well, Rama did extremely well to protect Chris Oldfield from coming out there. Did enough to usher Cahill out of the way, so Smart defending there by Rama. Another experienced player, isn't he?
Of course, played for Melbourne Victory a decade ago. A little bit of time in the A-League with the North Queensland Fury, and then a great servant of Victorian football thereafter. I wonder if it says a bit about how important veterans and experience are to being a winning team in the NPL, Mick, that two teams with so many senior citizens of the Victorian game are here in the grand final.
It's very important, Tay. I think finding the right mix is always going to be something that you need. I think at times where we had injuries.
Strano is going to play it back to Christodoulou. Two left footers linking up on the wing. Christodoulou shakes free, swings in the cross, pace, bunts it down and then cleared away by Wilkins. Jeff Fleming off the chest and sails that one high and wide. As you were saying about injuries hitting during your season?
Yeah, look, I lost a lot of my experience early on in the season, and I think at times that probably cost us some games that we dropped points. So one thing that you do need is experience, just for a different voice, especially on the pitch.
We just saw Harry Noon. It was a bit of a Where's Wally situation, but he's unmissable with those blonde curls in the stand. Of course, suspended after getting sent off in Queensland during the week. Unfortunate, given he was in all the promotional photos for Amy Park. He came to the photo shoot on Tuesday, flew later that night and was sent off and out of the game by the evening. So, very busy day. And good of all the clubs to have someone come along to the photo shoot, because with Avondale playing a cup game and Heidelberg playing the NPL game, it was a very hectic week for both sides, but we still managed to get this grand final well and truly out there, and it's been rewarded with a decent showing in the stands today. Pace. Katavian. Now Shepherd.
He's been well looked after. Oh, Pacey's hurt that shoulder again.
Stays down. Will Adam Bafka play dead? He does. Avondale won't appreciate it, but as you said, it's the second time today that Stephen Pace has gone down with a shoulder injury. Something that he's, as you mentioned, Nick, he's carried with him since his junior days.
All his career, mate. Didn't look like much either, poor Pacey.
Harvey Reid would be the natural replacement, the Australian-born Brit who spent most of his upbringing over in the UK.
How's that going to affect the game? Look, Pacey, the experience him and Bowles were talking about before the game. Very, very strong partnership. Doing well against Kane Shepherd. He hasn't had much of the ball.
Stephen Hatzakoutis in the comments says, Tolios out, Demir in.
No comment.
Are you going to dignify that with a response or nay?
I could say the same thing.
You'd rather Demir playing in goal for you?
In goal.
Treatment continues here for Stephen Pace.
He's actually in Greece at the moment too.
Bafana Jonas says, Matthew McNamara, I thought you were commentating this. Well, Matty Mack's sitting right next to us here, so if I do my voice, the headset will get handed over. There's Harvey Reid getting the talking to. It looks like the change is on the way. Jeff Olver, former Socceroo, giving him some last-minute instructions, and this is really less than ideal for Heidelberg to have to burn, not so much an early sub, we are at the 30-minute mark, but to lose the influence and the leadership of Stephen Pace.
Yeah, it's a shame to see him come off, especially in the grand final. He looks like he's in a fair bit of pain too. I don't think he's done that pretty well. A shame. He's a fantastic player, an even better person. So wish him a speedy recovery for Pacey. Got a few of his teammates there trying to help him off.
Heidelberg fans in the front rows. We're going to be part of a warm ovation here for Stephen Pace, who's cradling his arm as he leaves the game. And you feel for Stephen Pace, he scored an own goal in the Doherty Cup final, and his grand final comes to an end after just 32 minutes. So the big games haven't exactly been memorable ones for him this season.
Great show of respect there from Zocchi, going across and giving him a tap on the head. It's one thing, the football community here in Victoria is very close. We all strive to achieve playing in a grand final, but we all know one another pretty well, so that's a great sign of respect there.
So what's the call here? They've put the vest back on Harvey Reid, and now Les Dumbalis is getting talked to. So they've changed course here on the bench, Heidelberg. This is interesting. As far as positional changes, I wonder if that means that Wilkins will go to centre back, and then Dumbalis, who is left-footed, plays it right back.
Unless Ruben comes across onto the right, which I've seen him play a few times.
We wait in anticipation for the next break in play.
Interesting to see what they do with that.
Christodoulou. Good news for Heidelberg is they do have the lead, and Avondale haven't really threatened them in recent times, and that pass continues the trend as it sails out. So the sub goes through. Stephen Paceoff, Les Dumbalis, the most experienced in terms of games played for Heidelberg player at the club, comes on.
He's slotting it at centre half. There you go.
They're going to put him at the centre of defence. So there you go. We'll see how that move works out.
Long servant of the club as well, Les Dumbalis.
Comment section, Nick. Nick Epifano says, Tulsi signed me up. Of course, started the season at South Melbourne. A few fingers later, he found himself at Springvale, North Sunshine Eagles. I was about to say Springvale White Eagles. Can't get those two mixed up. Player who's given me a lot of good goals to commentate over the years, Nick Epifano. I miss him in the NPL.
No, he's a good player, but I don't think I can afford him though, Teo.
Maybe you can do a bit of a good guy discount. Anyway, we'll stay with play. Paul O'Brien, Jack Petrie, long ball. Archibald. Avondale are a bit stuck in the mud here. They're just not really showing a great deal of intensity. 10 minutes until half-time. What do they need to try here to sort of breathe a bit of life into their attacking play?
Look, I think Kane Shep need to get a bit more on the ball. I think they're dealing with Boland pretty well, but to be honest, he's been probably their best target man up front, and they've dealt with Elvis well. Look, they've got to try something different. I know they did last week. They changed their formation when they were away to Bentley, but everything's just sort of failing in the final third for them. Some of the decisions, forcing balls when they shouldn't, just need to retain a little bit more, a bit more patient.
Bit of a moon ball from Theodorides, but Jeff Fleming is game to head it back. Katavian ambling down to Woods. Theodorides clears it. Not too convincingly either. It's going to go straight to Towns. Christodoulou.
Great turn.
Spins out to the left side where Strano not exactly driving forward, but he is going to advance the ball. Shepherd holds off O'Brien. And coming through, shouts for handball. Adam Baff co-waits for his assistant referee. You feel for the ref there. The crowd saw a hand. The referee perhaps blindsided. Fleming against Cahill.
Cahill again. Works so hard as a striker. Great turn, Zara. Great feet.
Able to find a teammate. Wilkins. Long ball intercepted by Archibald. Comment from Carlo saying swap Elvis to the left. Well, he's just given the ball away there. Ruben Way. Fleming slides in. Zara keeps the ball. Cam Sober bursting out.
This is where they've got to get Elvis on the ball. Running at him. That's where his strengths are.
Leaves it for Boland. Long sweeping cross. Katavian backtracking. Lent into the header and then gave it straight to Sean Ellis.
I think Katavian's struggling from that corky. Usually he's brought that down and tried to have a go at someone. Use his pace.
Tafsansioglu. Boland. Volleyed it, looked like into his own face.
Self Falcon.
Strano reaching out for the ball. Now it's a 50-50 and Jack Petrie with a crowd killer.
He wasn't pulling out of there, Petrie, was he?
And then thrown back from the crowd towards the Heidelberg bench.
Got someone to lock Jeff Oliver there.
Jeff Oliver being a goalkeeper, still got the reflexes. Strano been barged over by Petrie, by Ellis, I should say.
Strano was lucky there. Let's move the ball a bit quicker.
Alex Chiavo in the Facebook comments. So he's not on the bench today. Jacob Talevsky getting the nod. It's a shame because he's been one of their best players this year. Scored, of course, one of the important goals in the decisive game that got Heidelberg the Premier's plate in the final, the second to last game against South Melbourne.
Oh, good play, Alex. Heidelberg surely would be missing him tonight. got injured, I think, up at Davenport, I think it was. I think he's back home in Brisbane, recovering from a knee injury.
Zara, his goal the difference at the moment. And he loses his footing.
This is where they get Elvis on the ball.
Kemsoba receives. And will break left. Christodoulou. Long driving diagonal. Boland. Spectacular attempt to win the ball from Katanos, and he's hurt himself.
He's landed heavily on his back there.
Heidelberg are going to go on the attack regardless. Wilkins wasn't to know that some of his teammates were already tending to their fallen comrade.
He might have gotten winded there, I think, Katanos, the way he landed. Both players, eyes for the ball. Fantastic effort from Boland and Katanos. Both don't want to give it up.
So he's back up. Seems all right to continue. Zoran Markowski prowling the touchline. No Anthony Barbieri for Avondale today. A few concerned faces on that Avondale bench. The game has really lacked a bit of intensity. It was a spicy first 5 or 10 minutes. Fouls, bit of chippiness, and then it's kind of dissipated over the last 20 or so. There's Attila Roffley warming up on the sidelines. Battle for possession again, and Heidelberg get the free kick.
To be fair, I think Strano slipped there and then Sean Ellis fell on top of him, but free kick's there. But I don't like why they keep whinging and carrying on looking for cards. It's the only thing that does bother me.
Tom Cahill really stressing the point here to Adam Bavka.
This range here. They only scored a goal against Grant Gully, I think, from this sort of range. So you can see Chrissy Allfield's starting position, knows to cover that front post, so he's aware of what he can do.
Plenty of Heidelberg players lurking outside the area rather than inside under this free kick. Ellis swings it to the far post. Oldfield charged through. Katanos wanted it to volley to his own advantage, but Shepherd was able to nick it off his toes. Wilkins. And now Dumbalis.
Heidelberg are good here on the second ball in.
Katanos! Amy Park has seen something special. Andrew Katanos puts Heidelberg 2-0 up. On the big stage in front of the big crowd, Andrew Katanos with dynamite in the boots makes it 2-0.
What a strike, Teo. That was an absolute pearl. I was just saying the second ball in from Heidelberg's very dangerous, but tell you what, he saw the goals, he had space, and he goes, why not? Pull the trigger. And that ball was moving as soon as he left his foot. Nothing Chrissy Allfield can do. That's a fantastic strike. It's probably one of the better goals I've seen in a grand final, that's for sure.
We know what he's capable of. We know he is such a talent. And when he puts it all together, that is the end result.
If we had a camera on the opposite side, I tell you what, we would have seen all the movement.
Well, we do. Nathan Sack, NMS Media, is up there solo. Apparently he's crammed the tripod in between the seats. He's enjoying it. That just looked superb, didn't it? What a goal.
What a strike. He must have been, 30 yards out.
And Avondale now find themselves in a big hole with still a few minutes to negate before half-time. Heidelberg on the march. Cahill, Ellis was waiting. Strano got the header. Katanos. Crowd will have expectations of what he can do. He's stuck in a 1-on-2 here, and Jeff Fleming comes away with the ball.
This is where Avondale just look very sluggish at the moment. Just slow to get out of their attacking at the defensive half and playing into Heidelberg's hands.
They just haven't done enough in a creative or an attacking sense, have they? And Heidelberg have seized a couple of opportunities, one from a brilliant pass and the other from a brilliant shot. Sure enough, they find themselves 2-0 up, and at this stage, on the evidence we've seen, Avondale are going to have to go to the well, just like they did against Bentley, just like they did against Sydney, coming back from a multi-goal deficit.
Great strike.
So 2-0 the score, and just 2 minutes until half-time. Avondale, can they conjure up something? Can they get a spark going? Boland. Petrie. Boland again.
Tell you what.
Knocked off the ball. Assistant referee's flagging. And Avondale won't get to take the advantage here.
This is something now. If Avondale can get something out of this, it'll be very important. Well, 2-0 down again. What do you do looking at half-time now?
Their bench, James and Phil Ricobene, Stefan Zinni, Jonathan Germano. So you suspect Zinni's the one we're going to see the earliest out of any of them.
With his pace, he'll definitely cause Heidelberg some problems, but they've just been able to deal with everything at the moment. So
Katavian over the free kick.
needs to get over the first man, that's for sure. A couple of crosses earlier.
This one is going to do just that. Archibald rises to the header, and Biles was awake in the 6-yard box to hook it away. Out for a corner.
That was their best chance there. He's done extremely well there, Ross Archibald.
So they get to follow up with the corner into the last minute of regulation. Christodoulou. The left foot can't beat the near man, but Elvis is waiting. Cam Sober was trying to buy a deflection, and all the Heidelberg players got out of the way.
One of those balls you have to hit. You don't want to lose it on the edge of the area. Force a counter-attack, so just didn't get onto it. Needed to at least hit the target, Elvis. But he was closed down very quickly by the Heidelberg defence. They're hungry. You can see that, Taylor. They don't want to give him an inch at the moment.
So the fourth official about to lift the board and let us know how much longer remains in this first half. We've had a couple of injuries. Stephen Pace leaving the game with his shoulder injury, and that means 3 minutes of additional time. Towns. Katavian, Boland, beaten to it by Petrie. Petrie out to the left side. Archibald getting across. Steers it back to Oldfield. Katanos. Archibald. Battle for possession, and the referee's whistle will stop Liam Boland.
The Avondale players are warming up, going through their paces. They might have to go to the bench nice and early in this at half time, just trying to break it up. They've got nothing to lose now. They're 2-0 down.
Ball in from Petrie, and Ellis across the face, wouldn't have counted. Flag's gone up on the outer side, and it's not.
Got to be careful now, Avondale. Don't want to give away another silly free kick.
Tim Marler tuning in saying we heard the sneeze before. Thank you, Tim.
Timmy Marler, thank you. Thought I was going to get in trouble for that.
One goal kick, and off the head of Biles, sliding down to Theodoridis at the top of the box. And well, he and Cam Sober have got history, of course, because in the Doherty Cup it was Elvis who tried to jump over Chris Theodoridis and then landed on him with both his boots. Got a straight red card for his trouble. Shepherd drawing a few boos from the crowd, being an ex-Heidelberg man. Ellis, clever, out of traffic. Zara, it's getting physical. Avondale give away a foul.
I think Adam did well there. Yes, there was a little bit of a nudge on Shawnee Ellis, but they had the ball. He waited to see if there was an advantage. As a coach, that's what you want from a ref. If there's nothing on, bring it back. Looks like Germano might be coming on nice and early this time for you, Teo.
I was going to say, you take the risk, you get his creativity into the game, and if he burns out and you have to sub him off later, so be it.
He's an X factor. You saw what he did last week. Changed the game for him.
Long ball from Wilkins. Petrie. Fleming. 30 seconds of the allocated 3 minutes to go. Heidelberg, to be honest, looking more likely for a third than Avondale to score their first. Petrie. It's just an exchange of volleys and headers at the moment.
I've never seen anything like that.
Ellis brings it to ground. Is there a sting in the tail from Heidelberg? That pass can't find a teammate. And now Christodoulou. Up to Boland. Potential high boot. Play continues. Katanos weaving through. Referee blows the half-time whistle. And this relentless winning machine that is Heidelberg United go to the break with a 2-goal buffer. We know against a team like Avondale that maybe doesn't count for a huge amount until the very last whistle, but as things stand, it is Heidelberg's title for the taking, and it's not friendly out on the pitch. A few players coming together. Katabian breaks up Biles, Tom Cahill and Liam Boland going nose to nose, Taf Sensioglu getting involved, Jack Morgan the fourth official, and now all the officiating crew getting in there. And the benches will do well to split this up because you can still get sent off after the half-time whistle goes. They need to get them down the tunnel here and in the rooms. The battle is afoot in the second half. There is nothing to be won in that situation. And great camera work from Vidnet here to follow the players down the tunnel. And it does appear to have dissipated. But Nick Tolios, it's going to be on for young and old at the start of the second half. Your thoughts on the 45 we've seen so far as goals to Zara and Kartanos give Heidelberg a 2-0 lead?
Look, I think Heidelberg started off well. Zara had an early chance in the first couple of seconds or first minute or so into the game, and then he took his chance really well. I think Heidelberg just settled a lot quicker. I think Avondale just couldn't get their foot on the ball, and then before you knew it, they were 1-0 down. And then, look, obviously a bit of brilliance there by Katanos, pretty much out of nothing. Ball comes out from a corner, 30, 35 yards out, and he thought, we've got time, nobody's closed me down, and his shot was an absolute pearl into the top corner. Chris Orfield couldn't do anything, but tell you what, Avondale need to do something, and they're going to go look at the bench, and if it is Germano, I think they've done the right thing. I'm not sure they're going to take off because Kane Shepherd has been quiet, but he's also a goal scorer, so it's an interesting one to see who they're going to take off for that.
Half-time at Amy Park. The thoughts of Demir Kulash on the other side of this very short break. It is Heidelberg United 2, Avondale 0.
I think it's a bit of a shame that young people are so constantly being exposed to sports betting advertising. Really hard to avoid in today's society. It's on telly, it's on the radio, it's on billboards, and you just can't really get away from it. I think it really sets people up for a life where they may be making poor decisions and getting sucked into a cycle that they can't really escape.
Melbourne Uni Soccer Club has been part of the program for 2 years. We want to make sure that all players, all staff, all helpers are in an environment that's free from harm, especially gambling harm and any gambling promotions. With the level of sports betting advertising we see on TV, our people are constantly being exposed to that, and it's important that we educate them and make sure they're not going to be exposed to that gambling harm as well.
Today I'm here because your club has signed up to the Love the Game, Not the Odds program, sporting club program. So this essentially means your club has signed an agreement with the Football Federation Victoria and also Victorian Responsible Gambling Foundation to separate gambling from sport.
We'd like to remind you that betting and sport don't have to go together. So if you have a kid in your life, have the talk this weekend about the risks of gambling.
To get involved or for more information, speak to your club development officer or go to lovetheGame.vic.gov.au. Love the game, not the odds.
half-time at Amy Park, and it is 2-0 to Heidelberg United in the NPL Grand Final of 2018. Damir Kulash joins me. Damir, great first half from Heidelberg. That goal from Andrew Kartanos, the clear highlight, but it really has been a pretty comprehensive performance from them so far.
Yeah, definitely. They started the game on the front foot and were duly rewarded with that opener by Zara, who could have easily had one himself beforehand. And then, of course, Kartanos. He has made a habit of scoring wonder goals so far this campaign. In the campaign that he's really come of age, Andrew Kartanos, who for so long has been an impact player for Heidelberg, well, he's showing it right from the start of the kickoff, and it's been the case today.
Tactically, what are Heidelberg doing to counter Avondale and exploit Avondale the way that they have, and what's missing for Avondale as they try to adjust during half-time?
I think they've neutralised Avondale's creativity and a lot of the dynamism that team has through the likes of Elvis Kamsoba and Joey Katabian, who have had subpar games. I think Petrie has been his usual fantastic self in midfield. Zara's caused them plenty of problems. Kartanos, we've mentioned before, but defensively they've been very solid. They haven't really given Boland and Shepherd much. And overall, I think Tommy Cahill has been a real workhorse up front for them. So Heidelberg have had players that are doing their role, doing it fantastically well, whereas Avondale have not hit the same heights that we've seen of them this season.
What about the fullbacks? We've got Yite Towns playing out of position as we look here at the first goal of the game, which was Zara breaking away, and then over on the left side, Strano, it's probably going better for him than it was in the semi-final against the Bentley Greens, but if you're thinking about a sub to bring Germano into the game, do you sacrifice a midfielder, or do you look to maybe make a defensive switch and change a number of players' positions in order to try and get Avondale back in the match?
Look, they've also got James Ukabene, so if they're struggling when it comes to in the fullback department, they've got one of the better fullbacks in the league on their bench to call upon. And I think that having Yite Towns, who isn't a natural fullback, and also Anthony Strano, who struggles in these big games, hasn't helped them in this first half, and Heidelberg have exploited that deficiency quite well. Germano's the X-factor off the bench. They've also got Zinni, who, if the Heidelberg defence is tiring, Stefan Zinni can cause them a lot of problems. And I say that players like Boland and Shepherd have yet to make their mark on the game. So, look, there's still plenty of time for Avondale. On the basis of that first half performance, they aren't getting back into it, but football's a funny game, as we have seen earlier this afternoon. So I wouldn't count out Avondale just yet, particularly after what happened last week.
Heidelberg pride themselves on being a difficult team to play against, and the first 20 minutes it was chippy, it was unfriendly, lots of fouls, and then the game fell into a bit of a lull, and then livening back up for the last 5 minutes, Avondale, a bit more desperation, starting to match Heidelberg once again for the aggression and physicality. But the thing is, it never goes away for Heidelberg. They are a team that is always in your face. We've seen Tom Cahill in a constant dialogue with the referee. Jack Morgan needs to pick up $7 an hour as his babysitting wage, taking care of the Heidelberg bench as the fourth official. I mean, they are just constantly pushing the boundaries and pushing the issues, and that is what makes them such a relentless winning team, because they are so hard to beat and so hard to play against. How do Avondale match that level of energy and intensity from Heidelberg?
It's a good question, particularly given that Heidelberg have a lot of that big game experience that up until this season was lacking at Avondale. Yes, they have played some big games this year, but I mean, Heidelberg is a team that's been at this stadium before. They played in the national final series before and grand finals, and they've looked apart in that first half there, whereas Avondale have looked a bit shell-shocked, you could say. They haven't performed to the expectation. Maybe the occasion has gotten the better of them. So it'll be an interesting halftime team talk by Zoran Markovsky to see whether we can see the old Avondale back in that second half. I must say, last week was a bit similar. Avondale did struggle in that first half, but they came at Bentley the second half very strongly, were by far the better team. Could have probably won that game in normal time had they done so, given their dominance. It'll be interesting to see whether they have a similar effect this today.
What about the injury to Stephen Pace? We saw him injure the shoulder earlier in the match. He was able to persist, but then a second knock was able to put him out, and unfortunately had to leave the game. It's been a really rotten run for him in the two big finals he's played this year. An own goal in the Doherty Cup, but now subbed out of the grand final herd. Les Tumbalis went straight in there and seemed to move in there pretty seamlessly as well. Is that going to hold up for the rest of the game? As far as Heidelberg's sub strategy from here is concerned, is there a minute mark where they think about locking this down, or given the way the game's going, is it all about pushing on for a third?
Look, I think a large part of that question, the answer to it, depends on what happens in those first 15-20 minutes. Les Tumbalis was one of Heidelberg's star performers last year. He hasn't found it going that easy this year. It just speaks volumes about the quality of their squad that they've had. Someone like Ruben Wade that can fill in that left back and become one of the league's best in that position. And I think that although it's been a pretty seamless transition, it'll be interesting to see how the game goes on with, I guess, a lot of tiring and weary legs. Heidelberg perhaps haven't got the X factor from the bench that someone like Germano and Zini can offer. I know they've got Attila Offley, so I think the subs are still to play a massive part in this game.
And just lastly, Demir, the crowd. Is it quite clearly in Heidelberg's favour, or has it been a bit of a balance? Is that a factor? We know at a smaller venue it would certainly feel a bit more intimate, this sort of crowd, and maybe give Heidelberg the 12th man, but are they getting that from the attendance here at Amy Park as well?
I think they are. Heidelberg is always a team that no matter if they play home or away, their supporters travel in good numbers, and they have outnumbered the Avondale fans today. But I did see after their second goal, Katanos and a number of Heidelberg players were giving the Avondale fans a bit of grief. I wouldn't be too confident about that, given that James Idias, who did the same thing last week, ended up quite red-faced come full-time round. I think that there is a possibility for an Avondale comeback. It just depends what happens in the first 15-20 minutes. If they can nick a goal back, if they can stop the momentum that Heidelberg had in that first half, I think they're a chance.
Thank you, Demir. Players coming back out of the tunnel. Live action coming up soon. Great, thank you.
So as we get ready to kickstart the second half, Avondale are going to make a double change. Nick Tolios rejoins me in the commentary box. Germano and Zini, it's all about who they're replacing. We're about to find out.
Well, it looks like Jeff Fleming's come off and Kane Shepherd.
Interesting call. So Shepherd's Avondale farewell perhaps not going the way he would have hoped.
Look, for me, I think bringing these two boys on, they need to adjust. I think it's the right move. A bit more pace out on the wing. Germano will slot in. Very similar move to what they did last week against Bentley Greens when they took off Liam Boland and brought on Zini. So they're hoping Lightning can strike twice. And it doesn't look like there's any changes there for Heidelberg either.
Well, they're going to stick with the same 11 that finished the half. Of course, Stephen Pace subbed out early. Referee Adam Bavka back out onto the ground. Now we wait to get the second half underway. Can Avondale go to the well again in their last two games? Able to come back from a 2-goal deficit. Tonight, Heidelberg perhaps a different proposition. It's going to be an almighty challenge. Let's see what they can do. Liam Boland to kick us off. Back underway then at Amy Park at the start of the second half. I tell you, Nick, outside it is actually freezing at the moment. So players will be wanting to work hard to keep warm out there. Not surprised to see some of the heavier coats down on the bench, actually.
Mind the cold weather as long as it doesn't rain, Tao.
to see Ruben Way on this near sideline in the second half. A player always full of energy, always close to the action. And a lot said about the montages at gold medal night. I think Ruben Way, anyone watching that not affiliated with Npl Victoria might have thought he was the gold medalist, the amount of hang time he got. From the centre of defence, Tapsansioglu hits it long, headed away by Wilkins. Germano, first involvement. Katavian trying to flick it on for Elvis, and now Christodoulou follows up, right foot outside of the boot, straight to that man Ruben Way. Ready to clearance. Towns brought it down, rode the challenge of Ellis, but Jack Petrie singled him out for praise at half time, and that's just what he does. Wins the ball once again and headed back to the goalkeeper. Chris Oldfield gets a touch. Some Seagulls just starting to swirl. Safe to say they haven't been quite as prolific as some games at Amy Park, which is a good thing.
Probably too cold for them.
Towns.
Ought to be pressing a bit more. So a bit more traditional lineup there for Avondale with two wingers, out and out wingers, Joey and Germano playing as two 10s in behind, and Christodoulou just sitting there as a 6.
Long ball straight onto the head of Luke Biles. You won't mind attacks like those. Easy to deal with. So Markovsky on the Avondale bench. As you rejoin us for the second half, make sure you like, make sure you comment. Let us know where you're watching from or what you think might happen in this second half. Strano. Wilkins, Petrie now, out to Katanos. His goal, the signature moment of this grand final right now. It's going to take something pretty amazing to top it. They had good goals in all 3 games during the course of today. Just the drama of the early game. I think that Northern City scored in about the 88th or 89th minute to go 2-0 up and somehow are not in the NPL next year. I can only imagine how devastating that must be. You felt the other emotion of going up direct on the final day, Nick, so I guess I can only imagine the sort of pain that Northern City must be going through at the moment.
Oh, look, I thought they were very good for 90 minutes. I think...
Ellis, the nutmeg, is it a penalty?
Nothing in it for me there.
Crowd are howling. It is a Heidelberg-dominated crowd. It's the referee that counts.
At first glance for me, Tay, I don't think there was much in that.
There's the bench, incredulous. Towns.
It's good feet by Ellis, but Heidelberg pushing here, looking for a third.
Cahill making his presence felt against Archibald. Back to Oldfield. And his clearance is going to be kept in by Germano, but not to his team's advantage by any stretch. More shouts for handball, and the crowd is starting to get worked up here. Boland turning. Sees Cam Sober. It's a beautifully measured pass, and what a good first touch as well. Now can Elvis take on Wilkins? 2 of the better players in their positions in the NPL, and Wilkins gets the nod there as he sees it out for a corner.
Has the FFE ever thought about doing a best 11 for the year? Things like that, Teo?
Fortunately, volunteer culture has fallen apart a bit. People like the corner flag and M-football sadly just don't come through anymore. So we see a header from Archibald, and nodded away. Strano. Archibald. And here's the other thing. Who do you get to do it? Everyone whinged relentlessly about the corner flag when they did exist, and then whinges relentlessly that they're gone. Well, let's knock to the ground. We're going to see a card here for Ross Archibald.
Well, something that the FFE could bring out themselves, just picking a best 11 that through the media or...
I'll take it on board, but I think even the slightest comment can be misinterpreted a certain way.
Yeah, okay.
Or the slightest video at gold medal night can be interpreted a certain way. So,
who would you have? Let's hypothetically then, between me and you, who would you have gone for in goals?
For team of the year? Gee, that's a tough one.
think Ross Archibald got booked here as well.
He did. So he's Avondale's first in the book. Only Paul O'Brien in the book for Heidelberg United from that first half. Ruben Way to take the free kick. Cahill to Petrie. Wilkins. Camsober.
Haven't given him much space, have they?
Camsober. Boland. It's a real battle in midfield, and Jack Petrie's the one that comes out on top of those. Sends it into the path of Zara, but Tavsancioglu is there first. Goes searching for Nathan Sack by driving it into the outer side. Good work from the ball kids to get play back underway instantaneously. Petrie directing traffic. O'Brien. Now Wilkins cross. Cahill's unmarked. Cahill, and it nearly went for him. Late convergence from the defenders, able to interrupt his shot. But when he brought it down, he had plenty of space.
Great ball in there by Wilkins.
And now Zinni trying to make his first real impact since getting subbed on. It's gone out for a corner kick.
Great tackle in there, but again, I thought probably Cahill could have done well. Could have done better with first-time header. I thought it was good height for him, and decided to bring it down on his chest. And crucial moment, I think he just started reaching for it and couldn't get enough power onto it.
Well, looks at the fans. We actually had a cutaway to Adam Bavka's brother a moment ago. Nick Bavka, of course, still playing. His brother, who's turned to refereeing. Christodoulou, high to the far post. Bit of grabbing going on both ways. And
Good spot there, Teo.
Heidelberg get it clear. Zinni. Tavsancioglu, shot on sight. Well over the bar. Josh O'Brien says if they're at the ground, why would they watch the stream? Well, for the commentary. Although we are on a bit of a delay. Plenty of comments coming through here on the live stream. Audience continuing to build. Heidelberg United holding a 2-0 lead here in the second half. And at the moment, looking like a winning team. Avondale's subs haven't exactly brought the life or energy to their team that they might have been hoping for from the off. Christodoulou. Boland. Plays it into the path of Camsober. Wilkins comes across, just unrelenting at the moment. Does not want to give Camsober an inch.
I want him like a glove at the moment.
Biles, the back pass. Plenty of trust in the keeper to play out of that situation. Cahill muscles Tavsancioglu, but Archibald is left standing. Petrie. Zara. One ball over the right side, and it's Paul O'Brien who's motoring after it. Rolls it back to Katanos. The cross, Cahill attacking the ball, and Oldfield comes out. Archibald was right there with him, but Tom Cahill is starting to become more of an attacking presence. He does so much of his work back to goal, but starting to see him face the target a bit more in this second half, Nick.
Yeah, he's doing well. I think he's offside here.
Ball over the top, won't find a teammate anyway.
Again, they're taking risks now, Avondale, which they have to. Getting caught 2v2 with Zara and Cahill versus Rama and Archibald.
Of course, the best player on the ground today will be awarded the Jimmy Rooney Medal. 57 caps for Australia for Jimmy Rooney, originally from Scotland. Part of the 1974 Socceroos that went to the World Cup.
I think this is the biggest issue that Avondale have got, the gap in between when Boland gets the ball. They're very slow getting out of defence and gives Heidelberg that space when they get it. They need to be squeezing up a lot quicker to prevent Heidelberg having a chance to run at them and give them time in the middle.
10 minutes gone in the second half. Still 2-0.
Not sure what that free kick was there for. Yeah, good experience there by Germano. Getting Rama to come forward. He knows they've got to get back in the game.
Katabian's free kick. Theodorides commits. And
Great take.
Able to collect.
Good take. Saw that early. Picked it.
Memes Paddy says everyone spam the like button and the likes are just going absolutely bonkers. It's what we love to see. Helps drive up the live audience. Thank you, Memes Paddy, if that is your real name.
Oh, great turn, Petrie.
Plays it back to Biles. Ellis able to track his run and stay on side. Archibald's there with him, and then behind Zara, couldn't turn on a dime, and Yite Towns takes it away. Germano. Biles right there with him.
Experience there by Biles. He saw that very early and he stepped up straight away. He knew that they give Germano that time and space, he can hurt them. And watch, he's closing him down. Experience shown there by the captain.
Long throw from Ruben Way. Tafsansioglu brings it down. Towns. Germano attempted back heel, didn't quite come off. Now Petrie. Blocked away by Christodoulou.
Got to take risks, I think, Avondale now. Leave Zinni up top on Boland. They win the ball, quick clearance. You never know, you can get him behind. No need him defending now. You need him to be right up next to Boland because he's isolated there with Biles and Dubalis. Need to just take some risks.
Long throw from Ruben Way, right to the edge of the 6-yard box. Archibald heads clear, and it's gone behind for a corner. Still very much a game on Heidelberg's terms at the moment. And for Petrie over the corner kick. Heidelberg in no rush whatsoever. In it comes from Petrie.
Boland, yeah.
And he got fouled for his trouble. So free kick.
Well, they're very experienced. Now to slow the game down.
Oldfield drives it high and long. Biles heads it away. Petrie. Cahill chasing. Ball holds up. He's able to bring it down though. All the Avondale defenders kept running. Cahill. Straight into the challenge of Archibald. Katabian.
He's been quiet tonight.
Well, you called it with the corky. I mean, his movement's been seemingly okay since then, but he just hasn't been able to impact the game. Zinni up against Way. He says, look at the shirt grab. Assistant referee not interested. Throw in for Avondale. Play continues. And then Ruben Way's right back on the scene to boot it away.
Oh, very strong again, like Tom.
Cahill puts it over the top. Tafsansioglu misjudged it a little. Zara challenging, pushing, couldn't affect him. Towns. Katabian tumbles over. Now Yite Towns for Avondale. And he's caught from behind by Ellis. It's going to be a free kick. There's Harry Noon in the crowd, watching on, having a sip of a coffee.
Put his beanie off, and more recognisable now.
Harry probably wishes he was out there. Harry Noon, how Heidelberg wish he was out there. Until they do something, Nick, it really does feel as though this game is Heidelberg's. But if Avondale can score one, it changes the situation.
It does. You get them nervous, gets them more on the back foot. It gives them belief. That's what they got last week against Bentley. And they were down and out at 3-1. A lot of people started exiting the door, and then all of a sudden that one goal.
Katabian's free kick. over all the pack, and it's put over the bar at the far post by Christodoulou.
And that was a chance. That's his first good delivery in there by Katabian. Great ball in back post. Evan on his left peg. You think at least hit the target, and he knows it. That was a great opportunity there, right, 60th minute.
Bit of a degree of difficulty to it, though.
Look, I think he just hit it on the half volley. Very hard to keep him down, but you know, these players here, can't blame the surface. It's a great surface to play on. It was a tough chance, came to him pretty quick.
Strano.
This is where you need him. This is where Joey can hurt teams.
Against Umbalis. Can he keep it in at the byline? He can. And Boland got there before Theodoridis. It's a goal kick, and Theodoridis has now pushed over Liam Boland. And he's going to offer his thoughts to the referee. Yellow card out of the pocket. And a bit of a scuffle ensuing. As we said, these teams had a big coming together during the Doherty Cup. Look at the fury in Les Umbalis' eyes telling Zinni to leave the scene. And Joe Katavian is trying to calm him down. Safe to say there's a bit of white line fever, Tulsi.
But no need again. And look, if the ball has gone out, move on. You know, now Chrissy's been booked for nothing. Now, lucky the ball's out of play. That's a penalty. It gives a penalty away for no reason. Don't need to do it. And Les Umbalis and Zinni, that was interesting. There's his eyes lit up.
Just a lot of posturing in the end. Ultimately came to nothing, but maybe a bit like the Oakley semi-final, it's planting the seed for something bigger and worse a few minutes down the line. I think myself and Mark Goshik were watching the Oakley Heidelberg stream out of the corner of our eye last week and saw one mini scuffle, and then 5 minutes later, Wayne Wallace and Lewis Hall went crashing in on each other, and it ended up becoming an all-in absolute melee. So in the meantime, Heidelberg have got a free kick, and Sean Ellis is absolutely in shooting range, and this could be 3-0 right here. Seemingly innocuous situation, and all of a sudden they have a very dangerous set piece.
They do. Sean Ellis on this left peg. His delivery's been spot on tonight. Katanos fancies it. Why not after his goal he scored in the first half?
He's in hot form, Katanos.
He scored some belters this year too, hasn't he?
He's a player who scores belters. I think he tends to favour the eye-catching, memorable goal. Think of the one at Lakeside that he bent in.
Did that make the top 10?
No, it didn't. It made the season recap. Been a lot of discussion of gold medal night since Friday. Not about the winners. Here's Ellis, and that one's not dipping in time. It's over the bar.
Great goals though throughout the year.
What was your number one goal of the year? Because Dean Piemonte ended up winning it, for those of you wondering. His little chip against South Melbourne.
Look, Dean's a quality player, and for me that was a great finish. But yeah, look, it's a hard one. Look, Liam Boland's goal from halfway against South Melbourne, I thought that was, you know, against a quality A-League keeper, and saw him off his line, and we've seen him done it. He's done it a few times in his career. Maybe that's why he didn't win it, because he's done it so often. It's probably
old hat. So third and final change coming up here for Avondale, at least in regulation time. If they go to extra time, they'll get one more sub. And it's going to be Strano coming off and Phil Ricabene coming on. So two changes at half-time, and then Ricabene in the 65th minute. So they've got 35 minutes with this 11, Nick, to try and redeem themselves and salvage the grand final.
I think they've gone to a three at the back. Ute will probably go back into the midfield.
Christo says, go Uncle Yit from Jimmy and Sean. And Ute Towns always gets huge audiences watching in from Tasmania as well, where he came from before moving to Victoria. He's a hugely popular player whenever we stream a game.
Good young player. He's had a great season.
He's taking the throw in right here. Into the box, it's all Heidelberg. Falls to Christodoulou, wants his left peg, and driving it at Theodoridis, who got his body in the road and then was able to hold on. Not before a little bit of foxing. For whatever reason, he didn't pick it up straight away, and he finally grabbed it just as Germano was on the scene.
Great first touch there by Evans, set him up on his left foot. Again, hits a target, makes the keeper, forces it into a save. So they've gone for it now, Avondale. Three at the back, Ricabene plays a three. Ute in the middle. Bit more urgency here now.
Bonds whips it away. Well, he called for them to take a risk. And the risk is conceding a third and being out of reach.
Ooh.
Tackle coming in from Biles on Katavian. Referee reaches straight for the pocket. It's going to be another yellow card.
Oh, he knew he couldn't win it. Might as well get the man.
66th minute. Biles joins Theodoridis and O'Brien in the book for Heidelberg.
Look, in the early game today, Moreland City, there's a few yellow cards in that game too.
Some really cynical fouls too, and in the first half, no less.
I picked that. I thought someone was going to get sent off in that game, the way it was going.
Boland's flick header, and now into the path of Germano. Theodoridis stands tall, makes the save.
Clash of heads here with Bowles, I think. Was it? No, Shawnee Ellis.
And Towns as well, but it was Towns who made the sacrifice there, really, to flick it on.
Tell you what, they would have stood. I looked straight away at the linesman, and he had his flag down, and that was a chance for Avondale. Keeper's done extremely well. Read it early.
Theodoridis has had a pretty excellent year. Huge part of the success of this Heidelberg side. Looks like Attila Ruffley is getting a chat from George Katsakis on the bench, so Heidelberg thinking about a sub of their own. They already had to bring on Les Dumbalis for the injured Stephen Pace.
Didn't have the replay there to see whether that was onside or not. The flag did stay down, so lucky there by Avondale. The man almost got him back in the game.
How did he become my man?
Probably the call last week on the goal.
Yeah, interesting that. It's got a lot of attention.
Pilo?
Not here, can confirm.
Did ask him to come down after that.
I wasn't too polite about it. Maybe I should have asked nicely. Anyway, ball back in play and rolled back to Theodoridis. Attila Ruffley's still adjusting his socks over on the bench, so maybe he's a little bit further away than we thought. Time suddenly becoming the enemy of Avondale. 67.5 minutes gone. Heidelberg, now a third goal from here would just about do it.
There's a free kick there. They're the ones that, as a coach, you get a little bit frustrated.
Can you sympathise from a playing point of view, though, that you would have given away those free kicks in your day? Or
probably did.
Long ball, Boland, the target. Christodoulou onto the ball, whipping it across the area for Cam Sober. Back in it comes. Numbers for Avondale. Zinni headed away. O'Brien has been there when needed. Christodoulou goes again. Next break in play, we'll see Attila Ruffley. Ricabene out to the right side. Cam Sober backtracking, brings it down. Katavian now into the box. Cam Sober guarded by Biles and Way. Joey Katavian. Christodoulou. Boland on the end of it, and it's not a good first touch. It goes out. Got more issues here for Joey Katavian. We've spoken all game about his potential cork that he copped early, Nick, but they've made the 3 subs. They can't take him off now.
I think he just got stood on accidentally. It's smart that you see Lesbian Biles carrying the ball away, kicking the ball away from the ball boy. Trying to waste a bit of time.
Theodoridis. Tifsetsiolu. Ricabene. Kartanos. And he's clattered by Katavian. But it's amicable as they both get back up. And that will prompt the next substitution for Heidelberg. Attila Ruffley is coming on, and Andrew Kartanos, whose goal is very much the signature moment of this grand final, is coming off. And he'll be hoping his teammates can close this out. And everyone will remember this game for his absolute moment of magic, Nick.
It was an absolute pearl, and credit to him. Tough season for him, a couple of injuries early on in the season, and to come back now in the business end of the season and score some important goals for him too. None bigger than the one he scored tonight. Could be the winning goal.
And Andrew Katanos leaves the game, and on comes Attila Roffley. Pretty handy player to have waiting on your bench. And he'll be able to stretch the pitch here at Amy Park as well with his raw speed.
There's more pressure on the back three there for Avondale. I think Katza knows that any ball that...
Zinni against Wilkins. He's able to sprint away. Wilkins closed him back down. It's in for Germano. It's wide. It wouldn't go for him. Avondale so close yet so far.
Well, again, this is what we talked about in the first half, what they lacked. Numbers in the box, and then what a great ball in by Zinni, showing his pace. And again, Germano, that probably their best chance of the night. 71st minute. Tell you what, that would have been game on.
Misses like that, though, make you start to feel as though it's just not going to happen. Archibald wins the header. Boland. Wilkins. Christodoulou.
Oh. I thought that went the other way, to be fair, but it's been closer.
Some worried looks on the Avondale bench there, wondering if and when they are going to get their goal here at Amy Park.
Just got to keep believing. We all know what happened last week, so they've got to keep believing, not give it up.
O'Brien. Taken away. Zinni. Really starting to come into the game, and he's knocked over here. Wilkins will add his name to the Heidelberg players on a yellow card.
That's what he brings in. Smart foul there by Wilkins. He knew that he was going past him again. He didn't want to create another chance, but having a fullback and someone running at you now on a yellow card is going to be very hard for him, so he needs to be careful.
Four players on a yellow now for Heidelberg. Christodoulou's free kick. And it comes, falling to the feet of Boland, but he shoots it straight at the keeper, and not with a great deal of power either.
For a chance there for Boland. Been tightly marked all night by Bowles. Him and Bowles have had a great contest in each other's face as well. We'd like to see. Just good old hard go at it. Germano done well there.
But his pass is picked off by Way. Petrie. Ruben Way. Cahill. Zara. And now Offley. His first chance to get into the game off the bench. Lost his footing but bounces back up. Plays it to Jack Petrie. And now Ellis. Sean Ellis! And curving onto the head of Archibald. And he and Oldfield have wiped each other out. They're both quick to get back up, though.
Oh, Ute did well.
Towns protected the ball. Christodoulou is now going to go out to Towns. And Luke Biles does very well.
Ute should have done a lot better there with Biles coming at him. Elvis was through. He had to get that ball over the top. You see the experience of Biles, just knows when to close down, can read the danger before it happens, and you know how much this means to him.
The battle continues. Ball out for a throw. Every decision that goes against Avondale, you can see the frustration written on their faces here. Heidelberg know they're getting closer. Now 15 minutes plus stoppage away now from redeeming last year's grand final defeat to the Bentley Greens. Archibald turns and pumps it long.
Offside.
Attila Roffley flags up. Good call, Nick Tolios. Central referee sees it eventually. A little bit of afters continuing on there.
I think the two boys heard the whistle there.
Moore looks at what is a very healthy crowd here at Amy Park.
Dante there. Oh, getting close. Need to make that count, Liam.
Down the right side. Wilkins motoring. Swings a ball. Offley! Across the face and hooked away by Archibald.
He did the right thing there, squared it back when he's head up. Nobody following it in. Ooh, hand ball there.
O'Brien. Offley was coming back from an offside position. Cahill couldn't muscle his way through.
Ricker Bean, very smart there, got in front of him. Very smart.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick.
Yep.
Heidelberg haven't been the champions. They've been the premiers of Victoria twice, but they haven't been the champions of Victoria since 1988.
Oh, what a turn.
Cam Sober into the penalty area. Elvis cut across. Ruben Way stopped him in his tracks. And Way gets it clear. Ricabene plays it back to Archibald. You can sense the desperation for Avondale.
Free kick.
Late contact on Archibald.
Elvis did extremely well there, but you needed to get that ball in. Needed to hit one of their players.
More squabbling over the ball and where it's placed.
Surely he's got to get back 10 yards there.
Katabian into the box. Cahill on defensive duty. Towns tried for the spectacular but missed it. Christodoulou, attack still going. Loops it across Boland and turned in by Germano. It's game on at Amy Park. 12 minutes plus stoppage to go, and Jonathan Germano, with the easiest goal he'll score this season, has made it 2-1.
Well, again, consistent pressure in the box there. Heidelberg couldn't clear it. A fresh area there from Ute Towns, but again the ball got back, played back in. Boland did extremely well. Could have gone for goal himself, but then he did the right thing, headed back across goal, and Germano not making a mistake this time to get him back in the game. And look at this, we've got game on.
So Germano gets the desired impact off the bench.
Oh, here we go again, Zinni.
Can lightning strike twice in the space of 60 seconds? Zinni! And perhaps with the top corner beckoning, he sailed it high and wide.
He did extremely well, got in the box with his pace. You know that defenders are not going to tackle in there. You just needed to do a little bit better. Again, both looking at the replay of the goal, but tell you what, Ross Archibald, every time he's been in that final third, he's had the composure to get the ball back in a dangerous area where, again, we talked about it in the first half. Normally centre halves get excited going forward. Credit to him, because he got the ball in, saw Evan out wide. Evan, great little dink across goal. His momentum now is with Avondale. You can see.
We flagged that one goal would change the game. We were just wondering if they would get that one goal. Well, they have. And now action's starting to really break out.
This is where now Heidelberg need to use their experience, use their smarts when they're going forward. They're just, it's coming straight back every time. They'll try and put their foot on the ball if they can.
By the way, and I haven't checked to see if I'm getting killed in the comments, but the last time Heidelberg were the champions of Victoria was when they won on penalties in 2001. Offley. And over he goes.
I think it was a great tackle. I don't think that was a pen, but
Tafsansioglu
did extremely well.
Was the man there. But yes, 4-3 on penalties against Port Melbourne Sharks in 2001, Bob Jane Stadium, after a 2-2 draw. Do you remember that game, Nick?
I don't actually tell.
So Heidelberg would be looking to end a 17-year wait to be champions of Victoria once again, if they can hold on to this scoreline or even improve on it. Long ball, and held on to eventually by Theodoredis, but he's going to do some foxing first and just buy a couple more seconds.
I think that's the matchup Avondale want. They want Boland to be up against Les Dumbalis. Obviously a lot taller, stronger in the air. Every time he's gone up against Bowles has put up a good contest. This is where they are. Heidelberg need to just keep it. Can't force it. And Paul O'Brien done well here. Oh, maybe jinxed him.
The run's on. And the cut back straight to Oldfield. Haven't called his name too much in this second half, Oldfield. Heidelberg bedding down. Their 2-goal buffer has been reduced to 1, but they still remain in the ascendancy. And now they are starting to venture forward a bit more in an attacking sense. Zara.
Shawnee Ellis, great ball.
Chested down. Ellis. Through traffic. And Taf Sensioglu gets it away. Offley. Cahill. Booted clear by Archibald. Cam Sober.
This is dangerous now when you've got Elvis running at him.
Takes a quick look around to see what's on. Boland on the right is his man. Liam Boland now. Cuts it back. Germano. Can't find a way through. Well blocked by Paul O'Brien. He has played well in this grand final.
Oh, great work there by Evan. Work rate to get back. He spent.
Ellis.
Oh, good tackle.
Denied by Archibald. Game's starting to go a bit end to end. That'll suit Avondale.
Sure will. Transition game. What are we looking for the third to kill it? Maybe better just holding it.
Katabian.
Oh, well done.
Wilkins, just clever defensive work.
He's ever heated up, haven't they, Taylor?
Well, the live stream is starting to pick up as well. People anticipating a big final 10 minutes here, and that's what we're going to get here at Amy Park. Bane leaned into the header. Petrie.
Probably had time to bring it down, to be fair.
Zara. Christodoulou. Now Katabian. Stopped by O'Brien. Down the line he goes. Zara. Tap Sensioglu. Volleys back and forth. Luke Biles with the header. And what a good header into space.
He's racing forward as well, the big skipper.
Sean Ellis drives it into the legs of Ricabene. And Germano, well, of all places to pull out a back heel, that one worked. Cam Sober.
Can't lose it. Well done, Elvis.
Being followed and harassed by Ruben Way. Now Biles. Christodoulou. These are all big phases of play, you get the feeling. And Avondale now trying to break into space. Germano with a clever touch. Cam Sober. There's a collision off the ball. Play continue. Cam Sober. Still going Elvis. And he's denied. Blocked away by Dumbalis and it goes out. But there were two players running into each other behind play. And the Avondale players are furious about it. So are the fans.
I think Petrie there, that was a smart foul. He's actually grabbed Germano by the neck while they were running through on the break. I was watching it very carefully. Again, he's a bit of push and shove and no need to do it. Not sure why Petrie did it, to be fair, because Germano hadn't got him for pace. So I'd be surprised if he gets sent off, but he didn't need to do it. It was a bit of a weird passage of play, that's for sure.
Avondale President Anthony Nazako making his feelings clear. The assistant referee Ben Sheepers, he may have a key role to play if he was watching. Germano's back on his feet. Adam Bafka goes over to speak to his assistant referee.
Well, for him doing that...
Or does he? They've barely had a conversation.
Oh, Jack Morgan, is he allowed to make a decision as a fourth official? I don't think it's a send-off, but like I said, it was a weird scenario. Yeah, he sort of leant across him or grabbed him around the neck, but you'd hope it's not a red card. I don't think the game deserves that, but it depends on what they saw, I guess. But
well, the Avondale fans certainly made their feelings clear. The longer this goes, the heightened the tensions will be. Adam Bafka's finished talking to Jack Morgan, and it is a yellow card for Jack Petrie. 5 Heidelberg players in the book.
So is he pulling it back for a free kick there, or is it ball went out of play?
Well, I think he gave the advantage.
Yeah, okay.
So
just getting a call there from Jim Macro saying should have been a yellow card. Must have seen it there.
And now Germano and Petrie still talking to each other over on the sidelines. Neither happy with each other.
So has he held it? What do we have? 5 minutes, did he say?
5 minutes to go. Crowd today, 4,416. Decent return.
Great.
It's consider that Melbourne City versus Western Sydney Wanderers got 1,800 during the week.
He's had a great game, Paul O'Brien. We're talking about him, lack of game time, but I think he's been fantastic, especially with the yellow card early on. We talked about it.
Tapsansioglu drives it high and long. Kempsover waiting down. Ball bounces. Ellis charged through.
He's won 2 balls without even jumping.
Towns. Past Ellis. Cahill getting involved. And then the touch was heavy. Biles.
Great tackle.
Went through. Avondale get the ball back though. Katavian.
He's given him a spark, Yute, hasn't he, since he's gone into the midfield?
Well, a lot of the Facebook commenters were calling for it because it is his natural position. Rikabene. Christodoulou. Long diagonal ball, and well Wilkins did very well. Committed and won it.
Had to. Once you've gone, need to make it count, because we know how quick Zinni can be.
Another long ball into the box. Biles outpoints Boland. Archibald. Avondale players all just edging further and further up the pitch. Heidelberg trying to lock down on a 2-1 lead. In it comes, and straight into the arms of Theodoridis. Heidelberg are 3 minutes plus stoppage away from sealing their first Victorian championship since 2001.
Looking about 6 minutes, I reckon you'll be holding up tail with the injuries in the goal.
Wouldn't be surprised if we get 5 or 6, agree with you on that. Ellis, third goal would make it a moot point this late in the night.
Just keep it.
Zara. Ellis flies. Rikabene got there. Now Towns trying to run. Cahill uses his strength and his skill and wins a very important foul.
Very smart there by Cahill. He knew that Yute was going to try and beat him with pace, but he just put his body across the ball. Won his team an important free kick just to slow it down a little bit.
More instructions from George Katsakis. Shouting to his team. Saw the number 3 there. He's shouting 3 minutes to go. Well, it's almost 2 minutes to go now. Jack Petrie.
Can he get the ball in here?
Does whip it in. Oldfield reads it. Able to hold.
Just play it out.
Just holding it up, waiting for his players to run up the pitch a little bit more. And now bombs it long. Boland the target. Booted away by Wilkins. Rikabene. Towns. Over to the open space and Tapsansioglu. Germano. Interesting, if not a poor first touch. Shouts for handball, not heeded. Play continues. Archibald. And headed away by Dumbalis. Still playing at the centre of defence after being subbed on for the injured Stephen Pace. Now a long ball. Offley. It's the meat and the sandwich there. Came through, went to ground. Christodoulou.
Route 1 ball in the box here every time. Germano's not going to win that, is he?
Lofts it long. Ruben Way returns it with interest. Straight back to Tapsansioglu. We're into the last minute of regulation. Desperation stages for Avondale. Towns brings it down. And it's turned behind for a goal. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, Bowles did extremely well. They didn't commit, didn't dive in. He let Yute take his first touch, and then I think he's overrun it. There we go. Jack's got the board.
This will be huge. A number of minutes left in this game. How much longer will Heidelberg have to hold out? Their stay of execution before being crowned champions, if they can keep this scoreline. It's all the way down to Oldfield. Down the wrong end for Avondale. 4 minutes. They've got to pick up the tempo now, Avondale. Kempsover. Wrong-footed Zinni. Offley Clever.
They're on the opposite side, if you can see the ball.
They've got numbers breaking. No, they don't. Offley slipped again. He's really just been on ice ever since getting on the pitch. Long ball. Boland. Germano brought it down but couldn't do anything with it because Biles was right on his case.
Tell you what, he's been fantastic, Wiggy Biles.
Could he be the Jimmy Rooney medalist?
The way he's played tonight, he's been fantastic. He's broken down so many important build-up play there by Avondale.
Christodoulou, another flick header on. Ruben Way volleying clear. Ricobene. Christodoulou, 1 of 4 minutes. The stoppage has expired. Zinni a little push.
Oh.
And the referee seen it. It was there. And a bit like last weekend, they resort to hope rather than anything else, Avondale. 2.5 minutes to go.
Looks like they've thrown Rama up forward.
That ball is going to deflect out for an Avondale throw, so they remain down the wrong end. Archibald trying to get some distance, but it's not even going to reach halfway. Boland, Ellis. Heidelberg's thoughts may well be to go to the corner here. Petrie just holding it up. And now he does go out to the sideline. Zara, his goal in the 5th minute got it all started. He's going to spray a crossfield ball. Headed away by Christodoulou. Avondale won't mind that. If he'd taken it down to the corner, it might have been a lot tougher to get it back. Zinni running at O'Brien. Backs his pace. O'Brien knocks him over. No foul. Play continues. No time to protest with the referee. They've only got 90 seconds to go. Christodoulou. Zinni again. Plays it to Katavian. Now Ricobene. Towns. Campsoba. Ricobene. And here's Germano, the back heel. And standing tall, it's Tom Cahill. We know he's good in the 6-yard box. That was in the defensive 6-yard box.
Did Germano do his hammy there, or?
He's stretching. In the meantime, Avondale are attacking. And that attack comes to an end. We're into the last minute of regulation. Fans are chanting Alexandros in the stands. They know their team is close. Kitchen sink for Avondale. Christodoulou straight onto the head of Sean Ellis. And he's going to find a teammate in Zara. This will all suit Heidelberg. Boots it away once more. Back to Oldfield. Sends it
last chance.
high and long. Boland's flick on. Tafsansioglu thrown forward. It's an up and under. Avondale have got numbers at the fall. Into the last 20 seconds now, and Ruben away. Slices it. Christodoulou committed. Commitment from both players. Cahill went up as well. And Zara comes away with the ball once more. 10 seconds of stoppage remains. It's now or never for Avondale. Adam Bavka looks at his watch. Heidelberg United are the champions! For the first time in 17 years, it's Heidelberg who salute. And they win the Npl Victoria Grand Final 2-1. A goal after 5 minutes from Adrian Zara. A cracker, a memorable special goal from Andrew Kartanos. And in spite of one back from Jonathan Germano, it is Heidelberg who hold out at the end of the night. And they win 2-1.
Fantastic there for Heidelberg, and what a fantastic season. Again, falling short last year, and the boys, I think, tonight deserved it, but Avondale, credit to them. They gave them a mighty push, but congratulations, George Katsakis and Jeff Holver. What a fantastic season, and what a way to cap it off.
Devastation for Avondale. But it's Heidelberg, a team that knows how to win and wins so often. And they continue to collect trophies, back-to-back Premier's plates, a Doherty Cup in 2017, and now they are the champions of Victoria. Amicable between the benches. Zoran Markovski left on the defeated team today, and George Katsakis, you can't take the smile off his face. There's Chris Oldfield, the pain of defeat.
Look, and you've got Ricky Biles, obviously good mates. going across. Not much he could have done with the goals today, Chrissy Allfield.
We'll bring you the trophy presentation in full. And Heidelberg United fans watching from around the world, you'll get to enjoy this one.
Well done to both teams. I think they gave it everything. They left everything on the park today. They've had a very tough schedule, both teams, haven't they, Teo, with FFA Cup games midweek and National League games as well for Heidelberg. But
well, that's the thing. Their season's not over. They play again on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday night. So what a great game. And again, we called it. Katanos has scored the winning goal with an absolute perler.
It's a goal worthy of winning any game, never mind a grand final. There are the scenes of joy for Heidelberg United.
And well done to the Avondale boys too. They had a great game. And I thought Adrian Zara was good as well today. I thought Adrian Zara had a good game. It's Heidelberg's most liveliest play in the first half.
Those are the people who it will mean the most to, the fans, of course. Heidelberg United right now with the biggest fan base week to week in the NPL. And it's going to be a big celebration for them. It's the general manager, Marcus Copsey, his first year full-time at the club. He'll be thrilled. The president, Steve Salakidis, Chris Theodoridis, enjoying the moment with him.
Oh, they're coming over to their fans. Fantastic. And again, well done to Jeff and George Katsakis. I know this meant a lot to Katza and Jeff. They fell short last year, and this was what they wanted. And for me, Lukey Bowles, deserved captain, gets a hold of the trophy today. Like I said, I think he's fantastic. For me, he's probably the Jimmy Rooney winner in my eyes. But
it'll be interesting to see who the referees go with, to be honest.
Who do you think?
Gee, that's a tough one. I would be inclined to say Jack Petrie.
Yeah, Jack Petrie, yeah. You know, to be honest, even Ross Archibald had a great game for Avondale. I think he was... Even Paul O'Brien had a great game, solid. Tom Cahill, important early on.
Well, what about this for Tom Cahill? He's bounced around the league the last couple of years, and now he's got a championship medal. Safe to say, I think he's found a home at Heidelberg.
The Cats have done well, losing Kenny FU.
There's Harry Noon as well. And Lewis Hall
Lewis
right there
behind him, yeah.
The two boys that were suspended tonight. They're going to sing the song. Well, that's certainly not the last time they're going to be singing that tonight, the players and the fan base. But the first one immediately after winning a grand final. That's how special it is. Streamers, celebrations, and they've still got to lift the trophy, Nick.
No, exactly right.
There's Avondale in a circle, talking about the season they've had, of course. Out of the cup midweek, losing the grand final here. Their season has ended very abruptly, and it's ended in disappointment. There will be some moments to contemplate what could have been.
I don't think they should be too disappointed, Teo, like you called it. Team that's moved up from lower divisions to playing in the NPL final. Look, for me, they've had a great season. Competed in the cup, competed in the league extremely well. Here in the grand final, and just falling a little bit short. But look, credit to, again, look at Heidelberg. Heidelberg's been a strong side the last two seasons. Fighting out with Bentley last year, missing out, and we know how strong Bentley Greens are, the super team with Johnny A there. But look, it's a good one there for Heidelberg. They'll enjoy it. They've worked hard.
There is the dais ready to present the trophy and the medals, and the Jimmy Rooney medal, which will be especially of interest.
Who we got there in the comments?
No real speculation about the Jimmy Rooney medal in the comments at the moment. So it finishes another NPL Victoria season. That's it until February, Nick.
Yeah, exactly right. Unless they decide to bring the season forward. There's discussions they might be bringing it forward or something, Taylor, until we find out later in October, I think.
We'll have to wait and see.
It's a quick turnaround. Most teams start pre-season in November.
So let's listen in to Andy Reid on the presentation table. Today's referees getting their acknowledgement, of course, Adam Bavka, the referee of the year. And along with him, Ben Sheepers, Luke Camilleri and Jack Morgan. And I feel for Jack Morgan, he probably had more work to do than anyone out there.
That's a great scene there.
Katsakis and Jeff Oliver.
Jeff Oliver, yeah. Sharing a moment together, which is great. Well done to the officials. Can't do this without them. But he had a good game, Adam.
Yeah, a few objections. I think all 3 games today have been well refereed.
Fantastic. Overall team, yeah. The cards were there when he gave them.
So man of the match, the Jimmy Rooney medal goes to the selfless Tom Cahill, target man, a real workhorse for his team. May not have scored today, but he's been such an important cog in bringing so many other players into the goals this year.
Well done for Tom. Like you said, selfless striker. Puts his body on the line week in, week out.
Just getting a photo there with Jimmy Rooney.
A great moment.
That's his little piece of history, Tommy Cahill. And he'll be back to get his winner's medal momentarily, but first the runners-up. Avondale will be walked through to get their runners-up medallions. So through come the Avondale players. As you mentioned, Ross Archibald, Nick had a big game today. Who else? Yitek Towns had his moments in this match.
Look, I think he did extremely well when he went into the middle of the ground. I think at right back, he worked hard. I think Zinni gave him a spark coming on. I think probably Elvis, one of Elvis's quieter games.
So a season again where they've reached a new mark as a club, playing the grand final. The FFA Cup round of 32. I suppose in a sense to set club bests and leave disappointed or leave as though there's unfinished business can only bode well for the future for them.
Exactly right. Look, I think for them it's a very positive season, a very big plus for them. Like you said, getting into the FFA Cup, one of the final rounds there for them. Grand final tonight. I think for them it's a super season. They can only grow from that.
Of course, they'll have Avenger Park up and running, grandstand under construction, lights. It's going to be a club that will be barely recognisable from its current form in a year or two.
From all accounts, it's going to be a fortress for them too. Very tough to play on that ground. Not the biggest, but really nice playing surface. And look, again, they're only going to grow from that. And you see the juniors that they had here today supporting them.
They're building. Yeah, they really are.
Consistent for the past 2 years, and to Cats and his boys and Jeff Oliver and their team progression for you. Absolutely, but you guys absolutely did your team very, very proud. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank for the year?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the board from Avondale, all the sponsors, the sponsor, all the people that work hard at the club, and especially these players. It's an amazing effort to play 3 games in a week, semi-professional. I'm so proud of the boys, it is what it is. That's finals, and like I say, congratulations on back again.
Mate, congratulations for an absolutely stunning year. Avondale FC, ladies and gentlemen.
And Zoran Markovski leaves the stage with the runners-up pennant. And that is Avondale. Formalities done. Now for Heidelberg United to receive their winners' medals. Great season for Chris Theodoros.
Yeah, fantastic season. Scoring 5 goals as well.
Getting those penalties. Josh Wilkins, there's an article during the week on FTBL about his A-League prospects.
Look, I think he's improved immensely this season. I think he's one of the strongest right-backs in the league, and one thing that he's brought this year in this competition has been his delivery when he goes forward. I think his final ball in has improved immensely, and he's had a great season.
Leston Barlas and Ruben Way, Andrew Katanos, his goal, truly memorable. Adrian Zara got it all started, scoring after 5 minutes. Jack Petrie, excellent again today.
Very good in that hole as a 6.
Harvey Reid thought he was going to be subbed on, opted for Leston Barlas instead. Here's Paul O'Brien.
Great game for me. Not playing much this season, a lot of injuries again, the poor guy. But he's got a winner's medal around his neck.
Tom Cahill, the Jimmy Rooney medalist.
Number 18, Jacob
Talevsky, an unused substitute, I should say, today.
Number 19, Sean Ellis.
Sean Ellis, again, excellent as always. Such a fantastic recruit from the GV Suns.
Great left pick.
Christian Pavlidis, selfless backup goalkeeper throughout the year.
Last but not least, your captain, number 13.
As Attila Roffley came off the bench today. And Luke Biles, player who was your nominal Jimmy Rooney medalist. Nick?
Probably because old defender I was, and I just thought he was great, solid all night.
You must be absolutely stoked.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is obviously a little bit outside the last couple of seasons, and obviously it's one I wanted to get under the belt before anything moves up maybe. But just wanted to say thanks to Avondale. They put a great show on and took us all the way to the end. Obviously everyone that come out tonight on Sunday night, all the fans from Avondale, and especially our boys and girls over there.
Great work, congratulations. I'd just like to also invite George Katsakis to come to the stage, please.
And now up to the stage comes the coach, George Katsakis.
And also had a request for Jeff Oliver, the assistant coach, if he could make his way across. Jeff Oliver.
Jeff Oliver getting called up as well.
George, that has capped off an absolutely fantastic.
That's what I'm talking about!
An absolutely fantastic year for you boys.
Catch that.
It's been an incredible 24 months, to be honest. It just caps off everything we've strived for. We set up a target in place and we've executed our plan today, which is phenomenal. I can't tell you how much heart is in these guys. Commiserations to Avondale. They've been a great opposition this year for us. But you can't take nothing away from these boys here. They're just exceptional. They've been alive in almost every competition around the world, around the country. Congratulations, boys. For you people out there, you're just phenomenal. All of you. Well done. Keep following us. Well done. Wonderful ends this season, boys. There is one thing left to do. Keep on taking.
And here it is, the moment that Heidelberg have been waiting for. President Kimon Taliadoros hands over the trophy to George Katsakis and Luke Biles, the 2018 Npl Victoria champions. Heidelberg United. And as Heidelberg celebrate with the trophy, Nick Tolios, that caps off the 2018 Npl Victoria season. Heidelberg get the spoils of victory. They will have tempered celebrations because they've still got at least one more game to go, potentially an FFA Cup semi-final. So Victorian football will continue on into the FFA Cup semi-finals regardless of who wins on Wednesday. But that's it for the league campaign. Your final thoughts on the season, please.
Oh, look, I think it's been a fantastic season for all clubs involved in the NPL this year, but, you know, it was fitting that a goal of that magnitude today summed up the season, and what a way to end it. What a fantastic day the FFV put on here with all three games, and plenty of goals, plenty of drama, and, you know, congratulations to Heidelberg coming out on top, and I'm sure they'll enjoy tonight, Teo, and the next couple of days, and then get ready for the game against Bentley Greens on Wednesday night. But well done to them and their supporters and their staff and everyone involved with that club, and they'll enjoy that one.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Nick.
Mate, thank you as always, a pleasure, and thanks for having me on in the grand final again.
And thank you to our commentators all throughout the day. The first match of the afternoon, Matthew McNamara and Demir Kulash. Then the middle game, Christina Hall, and the late game, Nick Tolios. For our video crew today, headed by Dave Barker and John Power, Sean Ellicott as well, working a massive afternoon, and also Nathan Sack on his own over on the opposite side for NMS Media. Keep an eye out for all of it. There'll be photo galleries, thanks to Rachel Barker, Natasha Morello and Mark Avellino up on NPL Victoria social media. It has been a magnificent day at Amy Park. My name is Teo Pellizzeri. Thank you all for your company. Heidelberg, your 2018 NPL Victoria champions. That's it from Amy Park. Goodbye and good night.